A beautiful morning to you out there. Beautiful morning, Nigeria. Beautiful morning, Lagos. Okay, a beautiful morning to everyone watching us all over the world. My name is Olori Adejoke Adubi David, and it's a beautiful day. Today, the 3rd of June, 2024. Welcome to a new month, a month of new things. New things that surround you, that makes you happy, and new things that will always energize you and ginger your swagger, you know, to be able to move ahead in life. Okay, so there's this saying by Peter Heggerty. He said that life is a journey, and if you fall in love with the journey of your life, you will be in love forever. Life is a journey, and if you decide to fall in love with that journey of your life, you will forever in love. So it's not just falling in love with someone now. It's all about falling in love with yourself, the journey that's set before you, good, bad, ugly. You'll be able to manage and sustain and retain and make sure that everything falls in line. Even if it doesn't, you carry your shoulder up and still continue to move on because you know something is right there at the back of the tunnel. Okay, it's a new week. The program is on Galaxy Television, and it's Family and Values. My beautiful sister is here. She's looking at me. I'm sure she's trying to decide what she's going to mention as soon as the camera is on her. But right now, I just want to sit back, part of Family and Values this morning, because good things are on all your way, and my way, and our way. So, Joy Baby is here. Hello, Joy.
Good morning.
And don't say anything.
No, I'm not going to say anything, but I just want to celebrate the grace of God upon your life. The weekend was wonderful. I saw people celebrating you.
Thank you.
I saw genuine love.
Thank God.
It's not always about the crowd, it's about the few people that you call family. So it was a wonderful one, and I'm happy to be part of that family. So happy birthday once again in arrears. We are still celebrating. The whole month of June is for you. Your gift is still coming in. Yeah, we're still going to have gifts. So you're looking good, very good for the birthday mood, you know. So thumbs up to you. Okay, a very good morning to our esteemed viewers. Welcome to Family and Values. My name still remains Joy. It's going to be a very, very informative, educative, exciting week throughout. Trust Glory to always bring the Mama Gen Z glam into this week. So nothing is going to miss. Besides, it's still her birthday week. So those of you who haven't sent in birthday wishes or who haven't sent in gifts, we are still open to the assistant birthday celebrants is receiving gifts on behalf of Mama Gen Z. So please come in with all your gifts. We are still expecting. It's going to be a very peaceful week. Yeah, I noticed while I was on my way coming, the roads were calm, not busy.
Yes, so
I don't know whether it has to do with the ASU strike or something, you know. But I just noticed the roads were not as rowdy as it used to be on a Monday. At the point I was wondering that, is there something that...
You know, some people are still out now checking whether they should leave home or not because, you know, of the fact that they have called out that there's going to be a strike this morning. So some like, let me see. And some like, whether it's here, I don't know. My salary is asking. Let me be on my way. Because if anything should happen.
Like, you know, you're not going to get anything.
So, but irrespective of the happenings around us, which we cannot overlook, it's part of the things of life that we have to go through.
Well, I just feel maybe they are fighting a good cause, but at the same time, you know, sometimes when you're fighting a good cause, you try to be reasonable.
Yeah.
The demand, the financial demand they are placing, a lot of states cannot pay that. Let's be sincere.
They will just be holding.
They will just be owing.
But they are not from that angle. They are seeing from the angle that if you have so much, you earn so much. What is now stopping us?
Do you get?
Which I believe we can actually do this thing.
We can actually do it if we have every state looking inward. The issue we are having is a lot of states are just depending on the federal government for allocation. They've not tried to generate in-house resources. So if you generate your in-house resources, you should be able to take care of your workers. You know, I think so. That's where the
in-house resources. Now, one thing that if we open the channel this morning to really talk about, even not opening the phone lines,
we are not going to really consume
I'm telling
everything.
you, there's so many phone
Yeah, they
from our states, and even the federal pushes and also adding more to it. It will help us.
It will help us. It will help us.
God, please help us. God is helping us, like I always pray.
Yeah.
As much as God is helping us, we need to also help ourselves.
Me too.
We need to help ourselves, and the government should please. You know, I passed through Agege. Yes, I said I was going to mention that. You see, young, old, pregnant, mother, father, grandpa passing through the railway line. Please, I'd like to call the attention of our government to this. This is a family matter. See, the family starts from home.
Yes, it starts from home.
Our government should also look at it from the fact that, yes, these people have appointed or brought us this farm, brought us this place. We need to also help. The money you give them, you understand, to say, do it, do this. Please go and find a way, a passable way that people can come down to pass through that rail line.
I think maybe
there is no wood, there is no rail, there's nothing. Just to climb down from that Agege under that Brigade Bridge. Have you been there?
I've been there. I actually passed through there. For me, I feel like there should be flyover over
even
there.
Even if there is no flyover,
that can walk.
You understand?
On it.
You know, something that they can move, come down from that top and descend, and also climb back. It's not. No, please, we need to. No. I
it's
passed
really
through
stressful.
there,
Yes,
and
no,
I'm like,
I do.
God, how much is it going to cost? They can't use 500,000 naira to do the both sides.
Well, that's the government
please,
we have.
I
Anyway.
want to say also thank you to everyone who has wished me happy birthday. Thank you for your gift. Thank you for your love. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being supportive. But it's time for us to go for our mini feature for today's episode of Family and Values. Myself and Joe will be right here as we take this mini feature and we'll be right after that guest. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're laughing in the studio and it's good to laugh. And I just wanted to believe that, you know, the topic we're looking at this morning, growing up as an orphan. Even we have some, you know, individuals who are not actually orphans, but they live like orphans.
Yes, a lot of them.
The parents are not there for them.
Yeah, not
they just live in the house. And even living in the house is even more sad. Some of them will try to abscond and leave the parents. It's like I want to start my life. I want to just start struggling on my own and just grow. And some have actually done that and found their place in life in the right heart.
You know, it's actually a case of a wife staying with the husband and they call for widows and then she says, I'm a widow.
I have heard about that.
I'm a widow, please. I don't know, you're as good as dead. Oh my God. So, you know, we actually have some parents who are alive, but in the minds of their kids, you know, you guys are not existing. So I am an orphan, so they think it that way. And so they've struggled over time. My daughter said something while she was preaching on Sunday. She said that if you're not there for your kids, not when they are rich, you now start claiming entitlement. And that thing really got to me. She was like, you've never been there when they were growing up. They've never needed you for anything. And then you now hear that this child is rich, and then you now come with, you're my child. She said such children would never come accepting you as, but even if they do it, they are doing it for formality, but deep inside of them. So we have a lot of kids that are living, but in their mind, their parents are as good as dead.
Yeah. You heard it. And so this morning to discuss this topic with us is none other than Oluremi. He's a pastor, but you know, he likes to. He's someone like me. We have some things in common. We don't like louting everything. So he's Pastor Oluremi Lawal. But I call him Oluremi Lawal.
Why did you decide to put Pastor Tim anyway? Let's
he's not an orphan. He's a parenting coach. He's someone that has impacted to be able to help to unravel certain things in the lives of the young ones, the parents, for them to know where you are missing it, where you're sliding off, where those kids are actually getting off your hand, and when you need to bring them back and restructure and reload and revive the love and the bond between a father, a mother, and the children. And so this morning we have Oluremi Lawal joining us live from Ibadan. Baba.
Look
You
at
know
how
how
calm
you.
he's looking this
Well,
morning.
good morning. Happy birthday in Arias Olori.
Yeah. He would definitely
Welcome,
talk
welcome to the Golden
everything.
Club.
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning, Joy. How are you too?
So, Oluremi, our topic this morning is
Yes.
growing up as an orphan. To you, please give us a definition of who an orphan is.
Giving a different definition other than what the definitions you have given already would mean trying to undermine the good job you have done. In the conversation you had after the what I would call a documentary we had, your conversation summed it all up. We have a lot of people. You will be shocked to know that the number of people who live in the true definition of orphan, or who live as the true definition of orphans, are not as much as the number of those who are living as circumstantial orphans, and they are the ones that are more in the society than the ones who are true orphans. Life is even a lot more easier for those who are true orphans than those who are circumstantial orphans. You know how difficult it is to live with the fact that you have a thing and yet you don't have access to it. That's the most difficult part of life. For these other ones, it can be explained that either their parents died by accident or one other circumstance. But these ones who know that their biological parents are there, but they are very absent in their lives, they are the ones I'm rooting for this morning. It might interest you to know that I fall in that category. You know, at some point until my wife asked me to change that line, I used to address myself as the only orphan whose parents are alive. Not of any fault of theirs, it can be understood and can be explained also. But not every time would we keep having explanations for some things that we can largely avoid. So I would want parents to listen to this program this morning. And for those of us who are listening live, if you can share it with parents, just so that they know that it is important not just to be alive, but to be living. A lot of people are alive, but they are not living. And in the case of parenting, we have quite a number of parents who are alive, but are yet to live because they are not living up to their true responsibilities as parents. So being an orphan can be very tough. And when you have to be one in our own society, in our climate, it's difficult. And we'll get into it as we continue with this discussion.
Okay, thank you very much for that intro. I love the dimension you've taken it from. I think it's even easier, like you said, for those who have lost their biological parents to actually seek help. Because you're telling somebody that, oh, I'm an orphan, I don't have father and mother. There's that empathy around it than people knowing that you actually have parents, but you're living like an orphan. It becomes a bit difficult for such people to get help. Now, in those people that are in that category, like you just put yourself in that category, there are times that things lead to that state of depression. Even with the ones that have lost their parents, maybe death, something, accident, or childbirth, and this. What are those steps that these two categories of people take to avoid depression? Like you said something that it took your wife to actually change that school of thoughts from you. Now, for kids out there who are still feeling, I have parents, but I'm living like an orphan, and the ones that have genuinely lost their parents and I felt like this is the end of the world, because we've had parents who are there for their kids have depended so much on them, and suddenly the cold hands of death has snatched them away. How do those kids, what are those steps they need to take to avoid depression and pick up their life again?
All right. I wish some of them are listening this morning or watching this program, as it were, because the step to take in most cases, if a man is sinking deep to a mud, there is little or nothing he or she can do for him or herself. So, you will need help. They need help. And like I said, if one being an orphan in our climb can be very difficult, because here we treat them from the point of pity, and that's not what they need. They don't need to pity, they need to be supported. And when I say supported, I know what I am saying, that there is a kind of support they need. Unlike you just throwing cash at them every time, thinking that he needs money to feed, he needs money to go to school, he needs a place to stay. We build orphanage homes. Yes, those things are important, but beyond that, these people, they need way more than that. Emotional support is more important for a child than your financial support, as important as it is. For them not to go into depression, I'm asking that first and foremost they should accept their reality. Reality is a leveler any day. No matter how much you wish your parents were there or were alive, as it were, the reality is they are there, and they are not alive if that's your own case. So first and foremost is to live with your reality, that they are not there. What can I do with where I have found myself? Not what would I have done if I were where I am not. Stop thinking of what you could have done if your parents are there. Stop thinking that you are disadvantaged because your parents are not showing up for you big time, because your parents are no longer alive. Stop thinking of what could have been. Start thinking of what can be. It's a difficult turn to take, but I'm telling you, it's something I can talk about. Life threw me under the bus at the age of 14. I became an adult at the age of 14, having to battle with house rent, feeding myself, and school fees. So I know how difficult it can be. But one of the things that helped me was the fact that I accepted my reality. That look, I have no one to run to except myself, and then God. Since you introduced me as a pastor this morning, I can actually wear the cloak of a pastor. The Bible says, when your father and your mother forsake you, I, the Lord, will take you up. So that's the moment when you start looking up. Stop looking down. Stop looking down, because psychologically, if you continue to look down, you will be depressed. That's the reason we teach people to walk with their shoulders high. People may label you proud. It's okay. I prefer that they label you proud. They think you have lost your confidence. Please walk confidently, knowing that the future holds a lot more better things for you than past that has taken your parents away from you. So my simple advice, if you have found yourself in that WhatsApp group as a joke right now, please face your reality. I said it earlier, reality is a leveler. Being depressed will not bring your parents back, neither would it make them take up their responsibility the way they. So depression will only hurt you more than what they've done to you. As more than what they have done to you is doing to you at that moment. So please don't do it. I tried it. I'm a survivor of 3 suicide attempts. So I can speak from the point that I have been at so many times back then. And I can speak to you to tell you that they are not profitable. It is a fruitless venture. Pay more attention to what you can do with yourself from where you are. That's my plea, and that's what I can ask you to do. Is the first step. And let me say this to you. There is nothing that you have been created to do that you cannot do, whether your parents are there or not. Let that sink. You'll be so shocked that David, the King David that we all know, I'm sure this is not a story that will be shocking to all of us. His parents forgot that he was their child, because when they asked his father, we need to see all your children, he presented all his children. He didn't act like he forgot one until he was asked, are you sure that these are all your children? Oh yes, we have one. He's currently. So apparently before that time, David was not part of his children. And if you read David's story, you realize that he was somebody who has found coping mechanism in living with animals and living in the forest. which was the reason why it wasn't a difficult thing for him. He needed to run away. He ran into the forest because he had learned to live in the forest. Is it shocking that without the help of his parents, he became the king and a victor in every battle he fought? So I think you should study the book of the books about David very well. You will learn true strength in independence from that young man. So those were things that helped me growing up, and they are going to help you also.
Thank you so much, Pastor Oluremi. Wow. Okay, it's time for us for our word of marvel, and also we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Family and Values. Thanks you. Okay, welcome back to Family and Values, and we'll be discussing, myself and Joy Abo, we've been discussing with our guests on Zoom, all the way from Pastor Oluremi. Wow. Okay. And he's a parent coach, and also he is an author. Now, Oluremi, I believe you're still with us. Where's your face? How are you? I'm sure you're enjoying this topic very well. I love the fact that, sometimes we find ourselves at a place where we need to share our experience.
Yeah, topics.
And you are now the best teacher at that point, because you'll be able to express yourself the way you have never done before. And just like you talk when you go to therapy, you just pour out those things. Thank you so much for your wealth of knowledge and the work we have shared so far. Thank you for always being there. You talk about facing your reality. I love that word. I have to quickly coin it down. Yeah, it's something I've always heard, but it sink into what we're talking about. Face your reality. My reality is that, I'm not an orphan. I'm a youth. And I'm struggling. I'm not encouraged. What do you think the problem is? What do you think is the problem of this particular youth? I'm describing a particular youth who is struggling to really be somebody. Yes, no father, no mother, and it's trying very hard. Maybe he's trying to sell some wares under the bridge, and you have tax come today, pack all the load, or you need to look for money to get a shop, or I've learned this skill but I don't have capital, I just want to make some little money here and there, and he's struggling. He wants to make it. He's not encouraged anymore because of circumstances and little problems. That maybe the father is there, maybe the mother is there. Okomi, don't worry, things will be better. They were encouraging, they will be there to help him or her. Him or her now, it doesn't have to be all the time. But what do you think the problem is at that point when that youth is not encouraged in spite of struggling? And also, how do we now encourage him if we see someone like that around us, or we come across people like that? How do we encourage them? So you have two in one question. What do you think the problem is, and how do we encourage such a youth who is an orphan, struggling, and is not encouraged?
You're going to permit me time, so I'll answer those questions and then say a few things, because you'll be shocked that a lot of parents are leading their kids into that valley as we speak without them knowing they are doing it. So now, in motivation, we have two types of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. And believe me, extrinsic motivation is largely dependent on intrinsic. Now, you must be self-motivated first. Even if your parents were to be alive or available, if you're not motivated, external motivation will not do much. I'm glad you introduced me as a pastor, so that will help me bring in, Bible verses. I might not be quoting them because of time. The Bible said David encouraged himself in the Lord. So before external motivation can come, before external motivation can come, external motivation must have done much. So depend largely on external motivation. You see, I appreciate the fact that you have learned a trade, you want to do much, you want to pull down the world, you want to, show the world what you can do. But don't forget that there is the level of starting small. There's the principle of starting small. So Every big thing in life started small. When I started, in all honesty, you'll be so shocked that I started from ironing clothes for people who make clothes. Then from there, I went on to start making clothes. I went on to start selling things. I began to hawk bread. You know, it was just gradually. I didn't jump at life at once, because if you jump up, you will come down. If you grow up, you will stay up. Even if your parents were alive and they were to have all the money in the world, your parents will be destroying you if they give you a billion naira to start a business. That billion naira is what will kill the business instantly, because you have not learned how to grow the business from 1 naira to 10 naira to 100 naira to 1,000 naira, and you want to start growing a business from 1 billion naira. You will decrease that business. So what you need to grow is capacity, and keep preparing yourself and pray for opportunity. In all honesty, once you build capacity, people are watching you. The fact that you're thinking your parents are the only ones who can help you is a limiting belief, is a limiting factor. It's demotivating. It is disempowering you. So every time you think of support, you're thinking, if my parents were here. And the law of nature is listening to you. The creator is listening to you, that this person is not recognizing my presence. This person is thinking that, okay, if his parents or her parents were here, okay, let me hands off. So all you need to do is just keep preparing, keep showing what you can do. You just need one mention. Just one mention is all you need. Just like Joseph was busy interpreting dreams for people who could not pay him. Those people were prisoners like he was. So there was nothing those people would offer him where they were. But he went on interpreting dreams for them. And when the opportunity came, he grabbed it. So as for how we can help them, like I said, avoid pitying them. Please don't give them anything. Don't do anything for them out of pity. Do everything for them out of support. That, look, I believe in you. I believe in what you carry. I am not looking behind. I'm not looking at your parents. You're helping them live their reality. So don't help them think of what they have lost. You come to me now and you say, hey, yeah, you lost 1 million naira. How would that, hey, yeah, back the 1 million? But if you look at me and tell me what Mary Kay told herself when her first office complex got, and say, look, you're the one who produced this office complex and you're still here. You can produce better office complex. That's what you should be telling me, not to tell me that, hey, yeah, sorry, you know, your parents. No, don't remind me of my parents. Remind me of my future. Tell me about my beautiful future. So when you sit them, the only way you can help them is to give them that extrinsic motivation, telling them the strength you have seen in them. Give them confidence. Give them assurance that, look, I believe in you. You can do so much from where you are, but you can do that so much from doing so little. So help them not to despise little beginnings. Help them not to despise little beginnings. So the time I asked for, let me just add that now as an addendum to what I just said. I said some parents are leading their children into that valley right now without knowing. You see, when children begin to do certain things that you and I label as stubbornness, it is a cry for help, not for us to label as stubbornness. Children have unusual way of expressing their requests. Like when you see a child constantly asking you questions, the child is not interested in your answers. The child is asking you, please, be with me. I've said it on this show before that there are 3 things that are important to children: affection, attention, and acceptance. When a child cannot see these 3 things, they begin to do things with all attention to themselves. If a child begins to climb Mountain Everest, maybe when I break my bone, my parents will pay attention to me. Maybe when I break my skull, they will sit down here with me. I need to ask you, Daddy, who is the father of Mary Celeste? You and I were not taught that in school. So imagine a child who are the parents of Mary Celeste. What would the child do with that answer? Nothing. The child is asking you, please give me attention. Please give me attention. But what you and I are busy doing ourselves in work, trying to provide for them heaven and earth. If they give you eternity, you cannot buy heaven for any child. You cannot buy earth for any child. The best thing you can give to a child is your time. No matter how difficult it looks, if you cannot have time for your children, don't expect them to honor you. Don't expect them to respect you. Don't be a parent, don't be a Manoah and his wife in the life of your Samsons. They were the ones who destroyed Samson. Samson was never a man who loved a woman that much. Just like you and I preach on our altars. Samson was a man who was looking for affection, attention, and acceptance from his parents. But those things were not there for him. And once he found it in Delilah, he didn't bother. So it didn't bother him if he was going to die in the hands of Delilah. It was not a problem for him. So don't lead your children into the valley of orphanage, even though you're alive. I hope you heard this message this morning.
Okay, thank you very much. We really got that message, and I hope our viewers and parents really understand how important this is. I'm going to be asking those questions. We have a lot of young teenagers, young youths who have lost their parents and they are vulnerable. And for them, sometimes I've come across a lot of them, and at the point I feel like they're taking advantage of the fact that I'm enough to do certain things. You know, we've seen a lot of them commit crimes. We've seen a lot of them go into terrible things, and then when they are caught, the first thing they say, I have no father and I have no mother. So for them, it's an excuse for vulnerability. It's an excuse for them to go into crimes. It's an excuse for them to feel like, well, the society has just made me orphan, so let me capitalize on it and then become a nuisance. Now, how do we raise those class of young teenage youths who are now vulnerable and taking advantage of the fact that they are orphans? One our guest on the show once said something that if an orphan is caught stealing, that he would rather, I think, sentence the person today, because as an orphan, you don't have any right to go into crime. It should be a motivation for you to even become a better person in the society. So for this particular set of teen youths who are now vulnerable due to this and taking advantage of the present situation, how do we raise them in the society?
All right. You see, everything you read out right now that these people do, you will find people, parents that are doing them. We just look for excuses to want to do evil. So that's the only conclusion they are looking for excuses to do their evil. Being an orphan is not the reason why they have chosen to social menace. No. You have become a social menace because of who you are, not because of what happens to you. I listened to Kunle's training recently, and he said, no matter how hard you squeeze a cockroach, the cockroach will not bring out blood because there's no blood in it. So the fact that you became a social menace is not because your parents left you or because you're an orphan. It's because there is that thing inside of you. People don't steal because they are thieves, but people who steal are thieves. So somebody could just steal a meat to eat because he was hungry and then will not do it again. But somebody who steals out of abundance is because it's in him. So people cannot squeeze out of you what is not in you. No circumstance can bring out of you what is not in you. Let's just get that natural. It's just like people saying somebody made me angry. You had the tendency to be angry. That's why somebody could make you angry. I do not have the tendency to fight. In my 55 years of life, I've never thrown the first punch. Wow. So because it's not in me, have I not been offended? I have been offended. People have done worse things to me. So, hanging on the fact that you are an orphan, then becoming a social problem, I don't think it's excusable. It's not acceptable for me. And I'm glad you said somebody came here. I would like jail you more. You know? Now let me tell you, while I was going through my battles, it was difficult for me. I think that's the reason why I didn't fight, because my question is, who will bail me from the police if anything happens? Yorubas will say, you don't go about injuring your back if you don't have a mother that will nurse the wound.
Yeah.
You don't go standing under the rain if you don't have an umbrella. You don't go standing under the sun if you don't have an umbrella. So I already lost the parental umbrella. I avoided rain and sunshine. So as one who has lost such umbrella, you should avoid rain and sunshine. It should be motivation to stay away from trouble. So you see how I'm boasting with so much glee that I've never fought. I've never been to the police station in my 55 years of living, because I knew what I had and I knew what I should avoid. So the only way you can help them is to remind them that immorality has nothing to do with being an orphan. That's the only way you can help them. Me, I am a blunt person, and it's the reason why a lot of people around my space think I'm a father Yoloro. Because look, I don't have excuse for immorality. I don't have excuse for social delinquents. You don't have any excuse for it. So everything that is an excuse should be a motivation not to do it. If they are hearing me this morning, if they are watching, let them know the excuse you have to become a social delinquent is the same reason why you should not. I can go on and list a lot of people who do not have parents who have made it up there. We have a ventriloquist, very popular across the world today. He's an orphan, adopted by other parents. And today, the guy is known across the world. So you don't have excuse. Please pull yourself off the street. It is not late yet. Pull yourself off the street. I'm saying it again. Yourself off the street. You have a lot working for you than you have working against you. Everything you need to succeed in life is inside you, none is outside. I once told people that, look, there's something we do. We all go to the altar, to prayer altars to pray, looking up. And the person we are praying to is looking down. Wondering, why are you looking up when you should be looking down? Everything you need to survive life is already inside of you. You just need to sit and look inward in them. And then the only time you need to look up is if you want to ask for grace, favor. So my fellow people in my WhatsApp, you're watching this morning. Yes, please.
I love that in that WhatsApp group.
Yeah, go on, sir. Your final word of advice.
So I'm just trying to see. I want to associate with them. I've been there. Today, my parents are my good friends. They are my best friends. You know, though they know little about me, because that gap cannot be reached. You can't take me back to when I went to secondary school or university for you to come and know what I did. No, it's too late. But they can only know from here on, from the point where they took on their responsibilities, and that's okay. So what I'm saying is, you take up your life from where you are and become who God has created you to be. So listen to me. If you cannot see any other person, at least you're looking at one right now that navigated life without his parents being there. And guess what? That still won't stop you from giving them money when you make money. So get ready. You're still going to give those people you consider your enemies money. And my final warning for you is, if you continue to see them as people who were absent in your life, you will live to grow up and be like them. That's my warning for you. You have no choice but to love them. Else, you are also going to repeat this cycle. I'm telling you, if you don't learn to love them, or learn to accept that your parents didn't leave you because they wanted to, you will grow up and do the same thing to your children. So that's the reason why you have to wake up this morning and accept your reality. Then change it where you don't like it. Reframe it needs to be reframed. Accept it where it needs to be accepted.
Accept it when it needs to be accepted. Reframe it when it needs to be reframed. Ha! Oh, got you. Thank you so much for your word of advice this morning.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge. We're not taking it for granted. We appreciate you. We pray God will continue to strengthen and encourage you. Use you more in this path He has actually given to you. You'll not be tired. You'll not be weary. You will always be there to see you through. As we round up, I want to wish you the very best of this week, Mr. Pastor, Mr. I'm returning back to Mr. Oluremi Lawal. You know, I love you when you're simple like that. It's easy for us to, you know, to deal with you and relate very well. Thank you so much for that. God bless you. You know, I respect you.
Thank you very
to everyone in that we wish them well.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. And please permit me just give a parting word this morning. Let me give a parting word this morning. I've never asked for this before. Parents who are watching us this morning, my passionate plea for you is I appreciate your desire to want to give your children the best life. But fortunately, you're not in a position to know what is best for your children. What is best for them is give them attention, give them affection, and give them acceptance. It is worth more than $1 billion. Children that receive these things from their parents will make fantastic leaders, fantastic husbands, fantastic parents. So if you see out there today who are poor leaders, who are poor husbands, poor parents, that is of what we parents do to them. That's my part. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Thank
the three
you.
A's: attention, acceptance, and acceptance.
Thank you very
so
much. You know, I can actually relate because he's talking to parents generally, and being a parent, yeah, from the heart, I can understand. You know, someone said something that when you see good male children that grow up to become good husbands, it's because they have this personal relationship with their mother. That when a male child calls the mom, and that child grows up to become a very good husband and a good partner.
That's my quote. That's the quote.
That's his quote, you know. Yeah.
And it's always very sweet.
Yeah, and I saw it on his status. I saw it on his status, and it's sweet. I took a memory down lane, and I discovered that it's very true. A lot of people that I have around me that are good husbands is because they had this personal relationship with their mother. You know, that affection while growing up. So yeah, that's
and you know, sometimes it's really difficult when the children are actually going to the mother's side. They feel like, okay, you're taking the girl. Some, not all. While some will like,
and the same thing with the ladies. You see that ladies that are affectionate with their fathers, they grow up loving their husbands. They just want to be that. It's very easy and simple.
So Joy,
we can relate.
Tomorrow is going to be another wonderful time for us, as we'll be having the topic, who should be my next of kin? Who should be my next of kin? Have you ever thought of having a next of kin? Have you ever imagined, is it my wife, my daughter, my son, my uncle? That's my uncle in the village. He has done me so many favors. What do you think when you are thinking of your next of kin? And for what house or for money? We'll be talking about that tomorrow by having a lawyer. So, Joy.
Thank you very much for being a part of Family and Values. This morning is a call to all parents. Please wake up, like they've said, attention, affection. Your kids need it too. Don't be too busy for them, please. At this point, we all need to be there for our kids. My name still remains Joy Abu. I'll see you tomorrow. And the week has just begun.
Okay, so like I said, if you fall in love, okay, life is a journey. So if you fall in love with that journey of your life, you'll be in love forever. Try and fall in love with it just by facing the reality. Just Remi Lawa just said, just face the reality, and God will be there. And God will be there. On that note,